Hey, good morning. How are you doing, Charles?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Just thankful for another Friday and looking forward to doing some more Christmas shopping. Absolutely not actually, but anyways.
I hear you. I hear you. I haven't even started. We're getting started tomorrow with our
Oh,
first bit of Christmas shopping.
good stuff. Okay. So, the topic I would like for us today is the home buying process. There's so many people that are just, first time buyers, just not sure of how that home buying process works. And I just wanted to go over that with you. So,
Absolutely.
so a client called me last night and he was like, I've never bought a house before. I'm not even sure what to do. And I said, well, first thing you need to do is get a pre-approval. And, that determines on your credit and everything else. And so I'll let you like what that means on getting a pre-approval, what they need
Yeah.
to.
Um, yeah, pre-approval is the first place to start because you don't want to be looking at houses and then find out you can't buy that house. So when you send a client come to me, uh, first thing we do is have a phone conversation and I take an application. Or they can apply online. Just go to clanch.usamortgage.com and they could apply online and then I will get a notification that they've applied. Or they can call me and then I just ask a few questions. It takes about 5 minutes. And from that information that they give me, I can run them through the computer, pre-approve them, and all of that. Now, some of the things we're looking for when they apply is what is their credit score? What is their credit history? What is their debt to income ratio? And what are their assets? So, all of those things are taken into consideration and it's all judged together. People ask all the time, what's the minimum credit score I can have? Well, a generic answer would be 620, but not all 620s are the same, right? Um, I weigh 225 pounds and I like the way I look at 225, but you probably wouldn't like the way you looked at 225 because they're not the same. We're built differently at 225. Not all 620s are the same. You may have a 620 with no blemishes on your record. Maybe you're just starting out and you're young and you're building credit. Maybe your 620 though is you've been late on your last three house payments. Or maybe you filed bankruptcy 13 months ago. Those 620s are not the same and they will be judged very differently by a lender. So you take that with the assets that a person has in the bank, with their credit history, why is their score what it is, and then their debt to income ratio. How much debt is showing on their credit report compared to how much income is showing on their W-2s and tax returns and pay stubs. So after that conversation, that's what I'm going to ask for. Let me see your tax returns. Let me see your W-2s, your most recent 30 days pay stubs, and most recent 60 days bank statements. Then I run it through a computer, a program called AUS, Automated Underwriting System. And that creates uniformity for all banks and lenders across the United States. They want uniformity because whenever we buy a house, that mortgage is bought and sold on a secondary market. Well, how does a lender in such and such place, New Jersey, judge a loan that was done in Tennessee? Because they're uniform as far as they meet the basic requirements that the system requires.
I gotcha. And also, do they have to have what 2 years of job history at the same
Yes.
place? Matter or
Yeah, so basically, you have to have 2 years of employment. It doesn't matter in those 2 years if you've had four different jobs or however many. As long as it's consistent 2 years employment history, you have to be working somewhere for 2 years without a gap. Now, can we get away with maybe a 30-day gap somewhere? Probably, but we're looking for 2 years. A minimum 620 credit score, but we have to judge how you get that 620. And then you have to have assets in the bank enough to cover your closing costs. And then you have to have a debt to income ratio. Depending on the type of loan, they may require it to be 40%, or you can go all the way up to 56% on some FHA loans.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. So client gets pre-approved. We get shopping. My client finds a house they love. We write an offer. They get accepted. So at that point, I'm sending the accepted offer to you and to the title company. And, so a title company is going to be running their title searches and all the things. And then what do you do from there after I send the contract to you with an accepted offer?
So from there, I take their contract and all their documents that they gave to me in order to get pre-approved, their W-2s, tax returns, pay stubs, all that stuff, driver's license, social security card, 60 days bank statements. I submit that with the contractor to processing. Then they will, within the first 24, 36 hours, something like that, they're going to receive documents that are disclosures. And let's say, this is what your loan's going to cost. This is what your rate is probably going to be. This is what your monthly mortgage is going to be. So those numbers are disclosed to them so there are no surprises later on. When we disclose those legally, we can never up those fees. So the client can know, hey, I know what I'm going to be paying. And it's all right here. It's broken down. There's no hidden fees. Then we order the appraisal. It may take some time, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks for the appraisal to be done. In that meantime, the loan is being underwritten. So an underwriter is looking at it. And then they come back and they say, your buyer is conditionally approved. You're approved for this loan based on these conditions. And those conditions will be normally more documentation. The documentation that we submitted has brought about questions that we need to document things further. So they'll ask me for those documents. I go to your buyer and say, can you send me these? And then we submit them. And then if everything runs perfectly, we get a clear to close. So, and our appraisal comes back. Now, it never runs perfectly, but that's okay. Like, that's just part of the process. It's nothing to be afraid of. That's what I'm here for. That's what you're here for, is when they ask for certain things, we explain, hey, this is why. And then we work that back and forth. But it's every kind of document can create another question. So we just have to answer those questions by further documentation sometime. But having conditions, it doesn't matter who you are, unless you're buying a house with cash, you're going to have conditions. So it doesn't make you a bad buyer or a troublesome buyer. That's normal. It's part of the process. So we just submit those. The conditions get cleared. During that time, the appraisal comes in. Hopefully it gets cleared. Let's say something goes badly, like there's repairs needed on the appraisal. Then we just ask for those repairs to be done. It's then re-inspected, and we're back to the same outcome of clear to close.
Okay.
Once we get clear to close, then we all schedule closing and go from there.
No, it's always the best news when you get those clear to close. And it always seems like it happens at the last minute and everybody's freaking out and stuff. And I'm just like, it's okay. This happens almost every time. And
right.
Going to close on happen.
Right. So, our buyers should expect about a 30-day process from the time that they give me a contract until the time that they get their keys at closing. You're looking at about 30 days. In that process, I forgot to mention, when I submit the loan, I also have to lock it. So I lock in their rate. When I do that, it takes in the totality. How much money are they putting down? What is their credit score? We talked about that 2 weeks ago and what goes into your rate. But then I have 42 different banks that then come back and say, we will do your buyer's loan. This is what the rate is going to be, and this is what it's going to cost. So then I lock in that rate. That rate from that time on is guaranteed for the next 30 years unless they decide to refinance. It will not change. So that's part of the process as well.
Awesome. Well, I think all that stuff is good to know, and everything. It definitely helps with being able to explain to people on the home buying process, with getting your pre-approval first, so we know what we're shopping for and know what kind of budget. Somebody might get approved for even $600,000 house, but are they going to like those payments? So you'll be able to tell them exactly, like, okay, this is what your payments are going to be and everything, and so we know exactly what to look for. So pre-approval are most important before shopping for a house and everything. But yeah, thank you for walking the process with me of everything. So I'll be glad to share this with everybody. It helps break it down a little bit better.
Of course, anytime.
All right. Well, I hope you have a good rest of the day and have fun shopping. I'm going to probably try to do some Amazon shopping. I'm about burnt out stores.
All right. Good luck to you. I enjoyed it.
All right. Have a good day.
All right. Bye-bye.